Hey team, I'm Maddie, welcome to Science Side Up, and today we are talking about conditional and convective stability. In the last video, we talked about static stability, which tells us how hard or easy it is to make an air parcel rise in a hydrostatic atmosphere. Today, we're going to take those hydrostatic training wheels off and look at two other types of stability: conditional stability and convective stability. But let's start with conditional. Back to our handy dandy temperature versus height graph. So I've drawn in the dry adiabatic lapse rate and the moist adiabatic lapse rate. This guy is new from last time. So in the last video, we said that anything below the dry adiabatic lapse rate is statically stable, and anything above it is statically unstable. But now that we tossed in the moist adiabatic lapse rate, we have 3 regions instead of 2. Well, if my real lapse rate, my real temperature profile is below the dry adiabatic lapse rate, then we are absolutely stable. These air parcels are not going to rise unless we bring in Thor or some other deus ex machina. They are not going anywhere. So if I'm statically stable, I am also absolutely stable. 2 different words for the same thing. And if my real temperature profile is steeper than the moist adiabatic lapse rate, then I'm said to be absolutely unstable, or absolute instability. If my atmosphere is over in this regime, we've got air parcels rising left, right, and center, cats and dogs befriending each other. It's just chaos. But what about this region in between the dry and moist adiabatic lapse rate? That region we refer to as conditionally unstable or conditional stability. Will an air parcel rise when the lapse rate is in this region? Well, it depends on, bonus points if you guessed this before I say it, water vapor. If the atmosphere is conditionally stable, then a dry air parcel will be stable, but a saturated air parcel will tend to rise and be unstable. So whether or not an air parcel in this region will rise, whether or not we have a buoyancy-driven lifting mechanism, is conditional on the water vapor that is present that day. That's conditional stability. So let's erase this, and now we'll talk about convective stability. In order for the atmosphere to be convectively unstable, we need a pretty specific setup. Before we get into those details, I want you to think about convective and stability as like this. If we have all of the ingredients for a cake and we've made our cake batter and we've put it in the pan, it won't turn into a cake unless someone puts it in the oven. If the atmosphere is convectively unstable, then we have all of the right ingredients. The cake is in that perfect batter state, but to get the actual rising motion, to get that real lifting mechanism, we need something to kick us off. We need to kickstart the motorcycle. We need to put the cake in the oven. Other analogy. So when the atmosphere is convectively unstable, it is set up so that if something kickstarts it, then we get a lot of convection. We get a lot of rising motion. The setup that we need to have convective instability is to have relatively dry air at the surface, and for this layer of air to have a pretty high dew point. So even though there's not a whole lot of moisture, we're still very close to saturated. And then we need a layer of air above that. This layer would have to have been advected in. where we have warm, moist air also very close to saturation. So if we have a setup like this, then we are convectively unstable. Because if something, even this air warming over the course of the day, breaks this barrier here, then I'm gonna start to mix this air into this air. Then I start to cool the air in the upper region, making it want to sink. And when it gets down here, it will warm and tend to rise. And so we will get strong convective motion. To sum up the last two videos, if our atmosphere is stable, then buoyancy forces won't drive rising motion. If the atmosphere is unstable, buoyancy will drive rising motion. Okay, team, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, team! In order for the atmosphere to be convectively, I have the fan on, geez.